Hello Aries, I'm lesbian icon Laurie Petty. Welcome to your horoscope for the Sagittarius new moon. Let's play ball. Welcome back, Aries. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for humouring me. How did you like the new intro? Many questions. Do write me a comment below. Welcome to your horoscope. This is the new moon in Sagittarius. It's happening on Thursday, the 24th of November at 9:57 a.m. if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. So let's split the difference. Let's all of us, Northern and Southern, let's all come together and celebrate the evening of the 23rd of November. That will be the perfect black night for us to ask for what it is that we wish for. After the sobering, perhaps, feeling of the lunar and solar eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio, after that sort of sense of, okay, well, this is how I wish to achieve autonomy, and this is what my current situation is. This is how I am connected and bound to other individuals, and this is the shedding or the revelation that's happened in those parts of my life. Now we get to look at things from a bit of a different perspective. We have access to this new moon, Aries. We have access to our magic. So what do you think about when you think of Sagittarius? Do you think about someone who is quite bold and someone who is hungry for knowledge, someone who is expansive and loves to travel, to move around, to expand their mind? This is how you can relate to your sense of learning and your want for knowledge and for lessons, how you relate yourself to your philosophies on life, and indeed how you think about your spirituality, if that's something that you identify with a sense of faith. I imagine that you might in some way because you're watching tarot, so we can just gently assume that, right? But at a new moon in Sagittarius, whenever you hear that, I want you to think, okay, right, so this is my current reality. This is how I am learning about philosophy. This is how I'm engaging with my spirituality. On the flip side of that, you could be incredibly invested and actually teaching, actually providing guidance and counsel and lessons on the subject. At a new moon in Sagittarius, we get to ask for the next round, the next incarnation of that part of our life. How do we wish, and where do we want to go as well? Travel has got a big thing to do with this sort of seeking out, going to the four corners of the earth, or the neighborhood, and seeking out guidance, lessons, students. How do you want to improve your relationship to faith? Faith is a very interesting word and concept, especially for folks that are queer identifying. We can often feel excluded from that language and from that line of teaching, simply because in quite a few, we are the other, we are the heathen, we are sin. And I'm here to tell you right here, right now, that I know that wounding, I know that sentiment, and I also know the rejection, perhaps, of organized systems, organized faith-based systems, because they often can represent oppression to us, can't they? They can often represent a space where we are definitely not invited and also actively demonized. I want to say right here, right now, that you're in great company. If that's maybe a tryst that you've had with your sense of spirituality or sense of faith, you're in great company, and you're incredibly welcome here to believe in what it is that you believe in. How do you consider your speck of stardust amongst the others. What is your relationship to the planets? What is your relationship to the spirits? What is your relationship to consciousness? All of this stuff you are welcome to. And these lessons, there's probably different experts that I could point you in the direction of if that was something that you were wanting to know more of. Straight off the bat, if you don't have it, download the Chani app, CHANI app. Just do it. I think it's, I can't remember how much it is a month, but it is so comprehensive, so skilled, so empathetic, so in line with our politics as well. Everyone, you feel witnessed and you feel that you have, I feel that I have weekly lessons on the subject. It's so, yeah, so as a side, it's not sponsored, but it's, I really believe in Chani's work so sincerely. And I think that she and her company have provided us all, only since 2020, I think it was when they launched it, but with such golden access to a faith-based system. I think one thing to really think about is dogma is the thing that can pick us apart. And if there's any kind of sense of sort of hierarchical oppression when it comes to your own soul searching, I would encourage you to step away from that, This is why astrology exists, and this is why astrology is such a queer language and why it is so accessible to folks like you and I, or, folks that you love. If you don't identify as queer yourself, that's, you understand the sentiment though, don't you? There's forward activation now that we're stepping towards some sort of enlightenment of consciousness. It's true. We're entering into the age of Aquarius. Some say we already have. Others say that we're on the way. And so we are evolving as a species. We are really coming into a greater alignment about things like equity too, about how this is not fair. The current situations, the current structures that exist that are benefiting from oppression need to go. And so through recognizing those tremors, those cracks in the foundations of these old systems, we can hold on to our knowledge and our lessons and our wisdom and our access to faith, to believing in something that maybe is a bit intangible, that we can't quite see. And there's a lot of criticism about this sort of stuff too, that it's sort of like, it's the Barnum effect, and, it's just, say one thing that's generalized, and yeah, absolutely. And, I get the criticism. I also, in my faith, put it where it belongs. And that if I do engage in lessons like this, if I can sit cross-legged at someone that I trust and believe in, that is telling me when looking at my birth chart that I exist and that I'm here, and these alignments will go to explain and to allow some sense of release and acceptance of who we are right at this very moment, then if it's resonating, let it effing resonate. I don't know if this diatribe was needed, but I think it's got a lot to do with the 9th house. So there you go, Aries. If you can actively ask for what it is that you hope to see coming up next in your spiritual journey, your access to philosophy, now's the time to be specific about it too. So there's a couple of really supportive aspects, relationships between the planets that are happening right now as well. It's almost like a clearing in astro weather. There's something quite nice about this lunation because it is so bright. So also in Sagittarius, your 9th house, philosophy, spirituality, is Venus and is Mercury, and they're in conjunction at 9 and 10 degrees. Venus, we know she's we all know Venus, god of beauty and love, pleasure, all of that kind of thing. Venus and Sagittarius can be quick to passion, can be quick to desire, quick to pleasure. I know this, my natal Venus is in Sagittarius, so there is definitely a journey that I take when coming to love and pleasure. Anyhow, but the relationship with Mercury is that there's a messenger of the gods. There's love to be shared here. There's love and pleasure to be found in your ninth house, in your idea of philosophy. And these two planets are forming a trine, a supportive aspect, holding hands with Chiron in Aries, in your first house, your house of the very self, the soul. So Chiron, we know, is the wounded healer. It's the energy of pain points that we can't quite maybe salve for ourselves, that we need guidance, we need help with. Chiron's been in Aries since 2019 and will exist there until 2026. This isn't to say that you're going to be in, agony of self for all this time. It's a slower moving energy, but there are marker points. There are moments to make mention. This is one of them because it's support. There's support here. 12 degrees of Aries, 9 and 10 degrees of Sagittarius, Venus and Mercury coming together with Chiron and perhaps being loving messages that you can take with you in regard to some of these trickier wounds that you might be carrying. There's love to be found in your access to faith. There's love to be found in your philosophizing. That's really all any of this is. None of us know for sure, do we, what lies beyond. Some of us have definitely on the path, on the journey to discover it. Some have experienced it in moments, either in many different ways. You can expand your mind, but this is a nice offering of pleasure-filled love for yourself at this lunation too. Yeah. The tarot card is the 8 of Wands for 1 degree of Sagittarius. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 really direct, precise messages. This is magic in action. Okay, so I wonder if there might be, there's going to be things that are coming up for you around this time. Maybe little breakthroughs, little eureka moments that you can look forward to, Aries. The major secret for Sagittarius in the tarot is the Temperance card. That's alchemy between emotions and magic, fire, passion. We know that a lot of fire on our emotional body can cause it to boil over. We can get angry. We know that too much emotion, too much sensitive. I was going to say too much sensitivity. I don't believe there is such a thing, but you know what I mean. Too much delicacy keeps us from expressing our passions, expressing our magic. The Temperance angel knows how to mix those two together and doesn't deny one impulse or the other, works with them both to achieve the outcome. I'm going to get you some intuitive tarot, Aries. It will be a nice release, I think. Hopefully the reverberations of the eclipses are kind of not wrapping up, but you can recognize them for what they were and what they provided, the lessons that you needed. 7 of Cups. And now you can step into your autonomy, as it were. You can step into your contribution to this magic trick. 3 of Swords. That's okay. It's okay, babe. And the King of Swords. All right. In your search for meaning, Aries, on your quest to discover and to learn and to absorb philosophy, to absorb spiritual magic, I imagine that there has been 1 or 2 or 7 different options. There's been potential here and there. There's been ponderances in that way, ponderances in this way. Maybe nothing has really landed, or you're finding that you're craving for that to land. It's rising in urgency. You're wishing to sort of in some way ground this experience of the etheric into something that you can feel with your hands. And I feel the pain. I feel the pain of this rejection or this heartbreak in my body right now. And we could relate this to organized religion. We could relate this to academia and the sort of organized confines, binary of the academic system. We all learn in many different ways, and each and every single one of us has a different learning style. Each and every one of us is brilliant. And perhaps if you've been met with criticism for the way that you absorb information, or that your learning style differs from the others, and that's led to you feeling that you are inadequate in some way, I think that what we can look forward to is Shan friggin' Marshall, the lead singer of Cat Power. I know this doesn't look much like her. This is the King of Swords. But whenever I see this darned card, I always think of Shan. I always think of her incredible intelligence, her access to her brilliant, brilliant brain. And I don't wish to speak for her, but she has given many public interviews on the subject. So I feel confident enough to further to that Shan has had a very interesting relationship with her mind and her mental health, and with the effects of trauma on that. And possibly, I would dare say, an interesting relationship with the organized hierarchical system of the religious churches that reign supreme at the moment, being that she was from the Southern America. This I see, and this could be someone external to you. This could even be a beautiful moment, and I always do it, have suggested listening to Cat Power, listening to that music. There's a couple of different songs that I could suggest straight off the bat. Great to listen to Pop Up Power off the latest Covers album. Great to listen to Cherokee, another beautiful one off the Sun album. There's another one called Woman off the Wanderer album. There's a line in it that goes, "The doctor said I was better than ever. Man, you should have seen me. The doctor said I was not my past. He said I was finally free." Beautiful, simple, smart as F lyrics. There's so much potential for you, Aries, in your intelligence and in your actual contribution to this subject. Your philosophy on life, I would love to hear about your philosophies and your activation, your journey into this kind of learning. It doesn't have to be tarot, it doesn't have to be astrology. If it is, you've got my full support. If it's something else, if there's something else that's taking your attention that you'd like to investigate, I would really want to give you a great message of support and encouragement, because you are smart enough. You have the brain for it, and I can't wait to see what comes out of you, and how you can use your beautiful, strident, confident Aries self, and how you can interlay that with your mind as well. Shan Marshall's got a lot to teach all of us. The triumph, and it's not over mind. It's not sort of, coming to terms with our inability. It's not. It's recognizing our divergence, our difference, and the power that has, and the contribution that delicious, wonderful, sacred, alternative mind has offered the world. I say it about Cat Power. I say it about you too, Aries. Much love to you. Use this moon wisely, my darling. Use it wisely. Let me know how you go. Thank you for liking and subscribing to my channel, Aries. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing this work with folks that you think might need it. That's also, I'm very appreciative of this net being cast wider and wider as the weeks go by. I really enjoy it. I really am very grateful for the support from everyone. Head to umaruby.com and book yourself a birth chart reading. I'm taking, I think, some time off in January, but November, December, there's room left in my schedule, and I'm really activated, and I've got a nice thing going. My weekends are taken up in beautiful, beautiful rhythm with this work. So if you are needing some guidance or some help with your birth chart, a certain way of looking at it, then I would be most grateful and happy and willing to do it for you. So head to Uma Ruby and book yourself in a place. I look forward to hearing from you. I'll speak to you in 2 weeks for the full moon in Gemini. So until then, take care. Thanks for getting my League of Their Own reference, and I'll see you soon. Bye.